No one writes poetry over decreasing stress. They don't fight wars for it and they don't lay their lives down for it. Unless there's something extraordinary that we're moving to, something really positive and juicy in our lives, then decreasing stress is actually very difficult. I'm Dr. Scott Mills, and I want to walk you through a short series of questions that will help you identify what is really the juice, what's the energy behind shifting into a more relaxed and easeful life, what will bring you forward and motivate you to make the changes. Also, to really push your unconscious mind to have a clear image that it's moving towards and guiding and supporting you along the way. So there's 5 questions we're going to go through. You'll find a PDF below you, and I'd encourage you to use the PDF as just a guide as you write these questions, the answers to these questions down. The first question is, what do you want? Most people I work with, they start off by telling me what they don't want. They tell me they don't want to be stressed. They don't want to have problems at work. They don't want to be fighting with their family. What's more important to identify is, what would you really like in its place? Because you could go anywhere from there. But when we get really clear, it actually makes it easier to move forward. So would you like to feel more relaxed with your kids? Would you like to have a better relationship with your boss? Would you like to have more ease in your body? And you want to be as specific as you can be. So it's one thing to say, I'd like to have a better relationship with my boss. It's another to say, I'd like to be able to talk to my boss once a week and have a really good experience at the end of that meeting. So just allowing yourself to get as specific as possible, go ahead and write down the things that you would like, the things that are the not stress things in your life that you'd like to move towards in this program. And you can always pause the video and take as much time as you'd like. As you do that, you can allow an image to come to your mind. Just think of what your life would be like with those things. So you might imagine, so my body would be more relaxed. I would be talking more easily with my family. I might have some more time. I might have more energy in my body. And as you do that, ask yourself the second question, which is, what would having that do for you? So if you had more ease, if you had more energy, what would happen in your life? What would that bring about? So take a moment to jot down what would having that do for you. And as that picture becomes clear, ask yourself once again, and what would having that do for you? So if you said, oh, well, if I had more space in my life, if I had a better relationship with my boss, then I might get a promotion. Well, what would having a promotion do for you? Oh, it would bring me more money. It would give me a greater sense of confidence. It would help me know that I'm appreciated. And then you might ask yourself one last time, and what would having those things do for me? What would being more appreciated or having more money do for you? Would it allow you to go on vacations? Would it allow you to feel better about yourself? Just notice, what are the baseline things that you really get out of this change you're creating, even now. Go ahead and jot those down now. And then a third question is, how will you know that you have it? If we don't have a way to measure, it's actually really difficult to know when we get somewhere. So I want you just to notice what evidence you would have if you got there. So some of the ways that people see this are, they would have a different experience in their body. So if you would have less stress in your body, think about what that would look like. Oh, well, I'd know my shoulders would not be tight. They would actually be released and easy when I touch them. You might notice that your breathing would be deeper. And these are all things you can test out. You can notice, oh, when I spend time with my family, we don't fight, but instead we laugh together more. So we want to find ways that you can really identify that you're moving forward, that you're having progress on your journey. So take a moment and just jot down some of those evidences that would show you you're getting what you want and also give you something to work towards. So go ahead now and make that picture even clearer by noticing when, where, and with whom you'll be when you accomplish this. So when you have less stress in your life, you've achieved these delicious things like having your body feel more at ease, breathing more easily, having better relationships, whatever those things that you're working towards, when you have those, notice first who's going to be with you. Are you alone? Are there friends gathered? Is your family there? Are your children with you? If it's at work, are your colleagues around? And then notice where you'll be, which is going to be suggested by the first one, obviously, right? If you're at your work, where will that be? Oh, it'll be in your office. You'll feel more calm. You'll be with your colleagues. And then notice when. When would you like this? So is it all the time? Is it most of the time? Is it in 6 weeks? Is it in a year? Just give yourself some space to know exactly when you'd like that to happen. My only encouragement is to give yourself enough space so that it feels realistic for your brain. If you say immediately and there's actions that need to be taken to create that shift, it'll be really hard for your unconscious to believe it's possible, and it'll just shoot it out. So instead, we want to say, oh, well, I could do some things immediately that would in a month create change. So the when might be a month. And you can always test this out by imagining it on your timeline. So imagine your timeline stretches out before you, your future going out before you, and your past behind you. Just notice as if you could slot that on that timeline where it feels the most natural. It will actually feel easier and more available somewhere. And then finally, just notice what you might lose. Is there anything that you currently value that you would lose? Now, this question throws people for a loop sometimes because they think, of course there's nothing I value that I would lose. But in fact, there's often things that are keeping the system perfectly in check. If you couldn't gripe about your boss who's stressing you out, then maybe you'd be stepping into something bigger. So you'd have to let go of your story and the safety in the place you're in. There's all kinds of reasons we do the things we do. There's no judgment here at all, but just notice the things that you might lose. These 5 questions will be our guide into the next exercise, the unconscious repatterning. So take all the time you need to finish up any of these questions. You might go through them 1 more time or 2 more times, whatever feels good for you. And then when you're ready, move on to the next exercise, which is our unconscious repatterning for this week. And until then, be well.